Good evening or good morning, members, depending on your timing zone. I welcome you to this first live interview. The idea is to create a series of events where you will be the protagonist and where you can talk about your collection, your works. I really hope you like this initiative. Okay, now, let me introduce my first guest and friend, IKER DE PEQUE. He is a basque artist from Spain, currently based in California. I'm really excited for this interview because being an administrator of this group is also a friend and is one of the first members that joined this group. Not much can be said for now, but it has also managed to translate on canvas in an excellent way a desire that I had for some times. This project is currently top secret for now, but not much missing from the presentation. Tonight, we will talk about two of his works that I personally love, Do It and Sean Connery. So Iker, first of all, welcome again, and how are you? You can now make a little presentation of yourself.
Well, my name is IKER DE PEQUE, also known as Bafometart. That's how I sign my work. That's how I present myself to the world as an artist. And I am primarily an acrylic artist. I do mostly surrealism, but I touch anything from realism to caricature to landscaping, portraiting, anything that falls in my hand, I am willing to do and take a challenge. So I've been doing art since I can remember, since I was a kid. And first I used to do primarily pencil and charcoal work. But when I got to college and I started studying graphic design, is when I started getting more into paints, and I tried oils, I tried other mediums, and acrylic is the one that stick with me. I'm quite a fast painter, so the way acrylic dries and the fast it dries, it works well with me. So that's my main medium when I work, and where I used to represent all my art in canvas most of the time. And well, you can see my work both on my page. The website is still on the making, and well, not much I can't say anymore. Yeah, basically I am mostly a surrealism artist. So this is what I do, kind of mixing up reality, some hyperrealism with realism, with a little bit of imagination and a little bit of what comes out of my head.
Great, great. Okay, if it's okay with you, I will start with Do It. Do It is an amazing acrylic on gallery wrapped canvas. This work really fascinated me. I tried to understand its meaning with my personal interpretation, and maybe I got a little closer to it. I know that you like to leave people room for imagination when it comes to the interpretation of your paintings. Do you feel can provide us with a key to access the meaning of your works, or do you prefer to leave free interpretation at our kind followers?
I always like to leave some room for interpretation. The reason why is because when you leave everything really explained for the viewer to see in your art, there is not much more to say. There is not much more for their imagination to go around and think about your work. So I like them to study the painting. I like for them to dig into it and see all the different areas, what it suggests to them, and what other meanings they can, because we all have our own experiences in life, and we all can take different meanings from the same painting. So yeah, it's a good thing that people can take other views, and sometimes even when I have some feedback from viewers or clients, they tell me, oh, I thought this meant this other thing or that other thing. And you can step back a little and you say, wow, I didn't think about that. And you get surprised of what it could have meant and what it means for other people. So yeah, I mean, it gives room for play and interact with the client in a way that when you have just a figurative art where everything is self-explanatory, you don't have that interaction with the client.
I understand, and I like this way of thinking and the way you do these things. But let me ask this: may I ask you when this painting was made, and if it's related to some particular period of your life? Obviously, for what you can tell, it's normal.
So both these paintings were created in 2021. There is no particular period of my life that they are related to. When it comes to Sean Connery, this is just a project that I did. I belong to a group of artists. We are a community of artists that we work together to do some social work and to present the art world with a different view, and we all work together, and we have monthly challenges that we put ourselves into. And one of the challenges that we had in the past 2 months or so was to create paintings that were divided into black and white and color. And so I decided to go with this Sean Connery and present him in 2 different eras of his career, of his life, where you can see the old Sean Connery and the new Sean Connery. The old one is in color versus the new one that is in black and white, which I usually like to work with contrast, and I like to work with opposites. So this came very handy to me in the sense of I like to put the things inverted, where the old thing that intuitively would have been in black and white is in color, and the newer one, which is him as an older actor, comes in black and white, because this is probably an image that we have more recent of him. So this was kind of a turn and just a twist on the whole image of it. So just turning the sides, the color palette around. And when it comes to do it, it's part of my surreal artwork. And when I do surrealism, I am usually a very colorful artist. I use very contrasting color palettes. I like to work with usually 2 color palettes at a time. One usually goes for the background, another color palette goes for the subject, and I like to play with it in a way that all matches each other and contrast each other, so that the subject gets its own protagonism inside the painting. About the meaning of it, if it was related to a period of my life, not really, but also is linked to, I would say, a life way of thinking. The meaning of this for me is about getting as long as you can, try to help those in need. The painting clearly showcases a flower that is in the bubble and is rotting itself inside the bubble. So there is the hand that comes to help, that comes to make an impact on that flower's life, bursting the bubble and letting it breathe and come back to life. So, I mean, it's kind of sticking out for the one in need. And I mean, this world needs more of that. And it was a way of representing that, you know. As for the color palettes, I usually use a lot of purples, and I use a lot of contrasting greens and yellows and a lot of magentas. And that is probably one of my works that represents a lot who I am as an artist. I like to play on realism. I like to play on this oniric way of thinking, and yeah, a lot of color contrast, a lot of opposites matching each other, and yeah, that's what it is. And going back to this, I wanted to say this group that I belong to, this association of artists, Fluidify, I would like for everybody to check on it, because it's really it's really a platform that encourages artists to showcase their art, promote new artists, promote new art, new styles, and while doing also a very good cause and helping other causes aside from the art world. So please check fluidify.com.
Okay, this is perfect. We can also put in the comments of the interview some link to this project, because it's awesome, and I think for the artist is really a great project. So I'm totally agree with that, and if I can give you my support also with my own group, I'm for it. So we will definitely put some contacts for this project.
We have 1 or 2 artists in our group that are also members of the 30, the Club of the 30. So perfect. Yeah, we are a couple of us that are in the group also.
Perfect. I'm really honored to hear this, and every time you want all of this group post something in the group about your project, you are always welcome, and it will be always appreciated. So thank you for this, and thank you for the explanation of your paint. This meaning is really beautiful meaning, as you have explained, and it was a question that I think to make, because as I repeat myself, but the meaning is really important, and it's really beautiful. Okay, I will go with the next question for you, if you are ready, but I think yes. Okay.
Always ready.
I will now move on the practical part. May you explain a little about the deck? You already do it a little, but I want to hear it better. If you explain a little about the technical execution and the colors and the material you use, and
okay.
I would be very interested in your personal way of painting. Also, for example, how you are inspired, or for example, if you use music for the concentration and so on.
Mm-hmm. Well, when it comes to music, I usually paint listening to heavy metal, black metal, death metal. The reason why is because the noise is like a catharsis for me. It allows me to travel to another world. It allows me to disconnect from this world and just get sucked into the work that I am doing. So yeah, usually I listen to very loud music, and I like it to be very how would you say, involving, and very to be very surrounded, so that I can totally escape from the real world when I am painting. As for technique and mediums used with this, I like to combine in most of my artwork, not all of it, but in some of it, I like to combine several techniques, and one that I use a lot, especially to develop my backgrounds, is fluid art. So what you see here is pretty much that. What I use is fluid art, what is called pouring, and I let the paint flow in the canvas. I develop the base of the painting, the color palette, and all the background that is gonna lead to the final image by doing pours and making the paint flow in a way so that it gives me these dynamic compositions that I like to work with. I usually avoid book compositions, I mean like traditional compositions, and I go for more dynamic compositions that I usually make myself. Nothing out of a textbook. And this fluid art allows me to do that because it allows the painting to flow all over and gives you that movement all over the painting. Then I find a place to put my subject and how to interact with the background. Like here, the hand, it gets mixed up with the fluidity of all the paint that is flowing, like if it was liquid or if it was magma or lava just flowing and pouring out. So what I do is then, once it's dry, I start working on my subjects on regular brush work. Like I said, I like to go usually realistic or pseudo-realistic. I would say figurative, but depending on the subject, I go more realistic, even going into almost hyper-realism. But I try to be coherent with the background because my backgrounds usually are quite abstract. And then I combine the figurativism of my subject with all the, like here, for example, all these flowers that come up are a mid-term between that abstract background and then the figurative main subject. So they are kind of like a link between the totally abstract background and the main subject. As for the color palettes, this is a color palette that I use a lot. Like I said before, I use a lot of purples, I use a lot of magentas, I use a lot of blues in the purple range. I use, as contrast, I use usually greens and yellows that give me that pop-up of the purples. So color theory is very important in my work. I really make a good use of color theory and compositions, I would say, are the two main subjects or the two main tools that I use to create my work. So this is a good reflection. That's why I chose this painting to show you, because this really showcases what my artwork is all about. I mean, leaving a lot for the viewer to imagine, leaving a lot for composition to be very fluid, and mixing a lot of abstract with figurativism, a story behind. I like the viewer to be able to feel something, to imagine something, and have their own guess at where the story is going to.
This is a great choice because I really love these two works. And as we agreed before, I think was the best choice for this interview tonight. Okay,
Correct.
I thank you again for this great explanation, IKER. And note that we are warm. I would also like to talk a little about Sean Connery.
Mm-hmm.
because
The
it caught my attention for its particular realization, because obviously it pays homage to a great actor who unfortunately is no longer with us. I also want to
correct.
say, excuse me, I also want to say that I meet you through this beautiful
Let
work.
me interrupt you for a second. Let me interrupt you for a second now that you said that. Fun fact, and this wasn't planned, but I started this painting the 1 year anniversary of Sean Connery's passing away.
Really,
It was
really.
coincidental. Yeah, on the
But
20 and the, I think it was the 29th of October. So yeah, it was totally coincidental, and I started the painting just the same day that was the anniversary of the 1 year of his death.
incredible. But let me ask this: you was conscious of this, or was just a coincidence?
It was just a coincidence. It wasn't
Incredible,
planned.
incredible.
I wasn't thinking
Oh,
about it.
incredible.
Yeah.
I like this. This give more value at the paint, from my point of view. But
Yeah.
it's absolutely an incredible coincidence. And thank you for have explained this fact. Okay, I want to say that I meet you through this beautiful work. But I think it is better that we keep this story for another time. So please tell us about Sean Connery.
Well, like I said before, I wanted to take a view on him that will showcase his whole career. I mean, people that is in an older range, they probably remember more Sean Connery for his roles as James Bond and his earlier career. And for me, I mean, I was born in '79, so for me it was more his later career, what really touched me more. And this is the image, this part of the image is the one that it just sticks in my head. So I wanted to showcase both things and in a way showcase a whole cycle of a career that he has had from his youth or his early ages to his maturity and all older age as an actor. So like I said, I mean, it was a project that it was meant to be half in black and white, half in color. So I really intentionally mix them up and kind of turn it around and go with the older thing in color, while the newer part of his life or the latest part of his would be done in black and white. And also that gives that sense of older picture since it's in black and white. So yeah, I mean, it was really a fun piece to do. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. And like I said, I mixed, like I did in the others, I mixed my fluid art with my figurative art. I think because when you do a portrait, they tend to be very static, very, they have no movement. And I think this background allows the painting to flow a little more, and it gives the image a little more room for kind of play with it and see how it flows between one era and the other one, and how the background kind of keeps flowing and flowing and flowing, and it allows you to go around the painting and change from one side to the other constantly and not get bored with one side or just a static image that, okay, you see it, you have seen it, and you just get bored and you go. I mean, it gives you a chance to keep staring at it and keep looking at it and focus on the detail. And yeah, I really like this piece. I really enjoyed doing it.
Yes, the contrast is between the two ages and the colors, the different colors had a strong impact on me. So I immediately contact you to get more information about these works, and it still remain one of my favorite of your collection.
Also, let me point out, here is a good example of how usually I do color, and because usually I tend to use 2 color palettes on every painting, and obviously the black and white is 1 color palette, but on the color area I also have 2 color palettes. I mean, I have 1 color palette that does all the background, which is all in blues, silver, red, a little of yellow, and then a totally different color palette that goes into the face and the portrait itself. I mean, using more earth tones, browns, yellows, flesh tones. I like to do those mixing, and that creates the contrast that makes you focus on the image. I love to do that. I would say it's one of my signature ways of painting, because I like to work with 2 different color palettes at a time, just for that sole reason.
Great. Okay, Iker. Thank you very much for your time and for having accepted to be the first guest of this series of interviews. I want to thank you, but I also want to thank our kind members that are following this interview. And I want to remember that other interviews are in progress, as well as reviews that they will be released periodically. Excuse me. So at the moment, we need all your support, and as always, share, post, and invite. Good collection and good work to all of you. Thank you, Iker. I think.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.
The pleasure was mine, and I think when this group will grow up again, that maybe we can have another live in the future, if you are okay with that.
I love that.
Okay.
I love that.
Okay. Do you want to say something about the group for our members? If you want, okay, you're already with them to the Fluidify project.
Well, as most of them already know, I am designated as one of the experts. I say, don't hesitate to contact me if you have any doubts when it comes to art, when it comes to painting, or whatever doubts or whatever questions you may have. Feel free. I mean, we the experts are there just to solve any questions or any doubts that you may have, and so feel free to contact us, and we are there for that. So we are happy to be helpful, and that is what the group is about. It's about making a community and making the world of collectors and art a better place. You know, it's a way of connecting all of us together, and you are doing an amazing job at it. Putting us all of us together in the same place.
Thank you. It's not easy. I want I want to say this because we remember this at me at the moment. I know for some person it could be strange that I put a lot of different things inside. Some artists could be disappointed because they see their paints and in another post they see maybe some toys or some things like this. But the point, there is a common point in all of these things. And the common point is the passion. Every collector have a passion for his own collection, as every artist have a passion for his own works. And this is the common point that we have together inside here, and I want to join. Oh, of course, alone I can do it. I can do it all alone. I need your support. And people
will be there for you.
Okay, I know on you. I count. I blindly count on you because we are friends, but I want to explain better. Now that is the first live, I want to explain better to our kind members which is the point of this group. And now we are small. We are only 500 persons. This is the smallest group in the on the net and on Facebook. But I think we are doing the things in the right way, and I think that will grow up sooner. As more we grow up, as more the quality of the interviews, the quality of the reviews, the quality of the service, all will be improved. For a so small group, we already have a prize game with the rewards. I want to say hello to my friend in France, Alex Kerr, that is a very active member of this group, and we will have, as this is proportion, as we grow up, as we will have a better service and a better community. So please support, still believe in this project, and good collection and good work to all of you guys. Okay, Iker, thank you another time, and
I think my pleasure.
I think that for night is enough. Okay, thank you very much. I will call you later privately. Bye.
Talk to you later.
Bye.
Thank you, Enrico.